Let's now talk Arsenal. Another busy window for Mikel Arteta, the biggest spenders so far, and there could be more. Let's speak to AFTV's James Bayliss. James, very good morning to you. Happy so far?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I think you've got to be happy. I think we've addressed some key areas quite early. You know, Gabriel Jesus getting pretty much a full pre-season in there, really important. I've got to be honest, the day we didn't get Champions League football, obviously we've been linked to Jesus before that. I thought that deal was probably dead in the water at that point. But Edu and Arteta worked their magic, managed to get him in. And Zinchenko as well, because we know that when we lose Kieran Tierney, we kind of lose something in our build-up. We lose something, you know, in terms of stability in the back four. And Zinchenko's a top signing. So add Vieira, who we're, you know, yet to see as well. I still think we need a midfielder. But I think you've got to be happy with what we've done so far.
Can't say he's not been backed, can he, Mikel Arteta?
Well, that's the thing. And for a long time, Arsenal weren't spending with, you know, the big boys, and actually the last couple of years, and actually it's not even just Arteta. I think, you know, from when we signed Xhaka for 35 million, I think Mustafi came in for a similar price back in 2017. You know, Arsenal have actually been spending quite a bit. Mikel Arteta, was it 150, I think, last summer? So, you know, this summer again, another big spend. I still think they've got one more trick up their sleeve. You know, could it be a central midfielder or another wide player? No, we were linked to Rafinha. That never happened. So yeah, he's been backed. But you know, I think he needed to be as well, because there was a lot of change. There was a real rebuild that he needed to oversee at Arsenal. And to be fair, I think he's overseen most, if not all of that, you know, by this point. So yeah, he's been backed, and that comes with expectation now. Arsenal fans, they wanted the money to be spent, and it has been. But they want to see us really competing with, you know, okay, maybe not the top two. You know, they're fantastic, but you want to see us sort of taking some points off them and closing the gap a little bit, and, you know, finally booking a place in the Champions League, hopefully.
Michael, who's done the better business so far, Arsenal or Tottenham?
I think both clubs are.
Oh, come on.
I think both clubs will be happy with what they've done so far. You know, I keep seeing the comparison Jesus or Richarlison. I mean, the comparison should be Jesus or Kane. I mean, Richarlison isn't a definite starter for Tottenham. I think Jesus suits Arsenal. I think Richarlison suits Tottenham. I think both clubs are going to want to do more. I think both clubs will do more. But I think both will be happy so far. I mean, look, it's been an unbelievable window so far. I don't think anyone expected so much business to be done in June. Then clubs, all big clubs, went abroad, went around the world, and I think you'll see more business being done. But I'll say the same for Tottenham, I'll say the same for Arsenal, I'll say the same for Chelsea. Many clubs, outgoings is really key over the next few weeks as well.
Let's get back to Arsenal and to James now. James, you touched on it there, the disappointment of missing out on the Champions League towards the end of last season. Was that a big concern, that recruiting the right type of players would be a lot more difficult with back to Thursday nights?
It was for me. But I think Arsenal addressed that quite quickly when the Jesus rumours continued, and it sort of, as the early parts of the summer window, you know, moved along, it felt like that deal was going to go ahead. And then we were still linked to players like Rafinha, Lisandro Martinez. Obviously, they moved elsewhere. But we brought in Vieira and Zinchenko. So I think Edu might have said in one of his recent interviews that, I think about him with you guys, with Sky, actually. I think he said that, you know, actually they still got their top targets in. So, you know, credit to them for that, because there was a lot of talk, wasn't there? It wasn't just about getting in the Champions League and competing. Look, we all want that. We all want the Tuesday, Wednesday nights with the Champions League theme music and the big clubs coming to the Emirates. But I think a big part of it was actually, would it allow us to then, you know, was that the platform to then build on, get the players we wanted, so that we could be really competitive in these competitions when we're in it, and, you know, really competitive in the league again. But Edu, you know, he's saying that we managed to get our top targets, and listen, I think we brought in some real quality. You know, we brought in 2 league title winners. I know, you know, some people will say, well, how big a part did, you know, Jesus and Zinchenko play week in, week out? But, you know, Zinchenko called upon, you know, in the Villa game when they needed a goal, and Jesus playing in big games against Liverpool and Real Madrid. So these are 2 top players who've been there and done it in really, you know, big moments for Man City. And now they're at Arsenal. So I'm really impressed we've been able to get that level of target in. I mean, a club the size of Arsenal should be able to. But yeah, I'm happy with the window, and it looks like we haven't had to compromise, you know, too much on our targets. We might have missed out on a few others. But again, I think there's one more trick up their sleeve. I think there's one more to come.
Yeah, that interview that James referred to there was done by our very own Michael Bridge, who was pointing at himself like David Brent whilst James was discussing it. But it was very interesting what Eddie had to say over the course of that trip, not just about players he'd brought in and the backing for Mikel Arteta, but players that he described as killing the club, the ones that he wanted to get rid of. And you can only assume he was referring to the likes of Mesut Ozil and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. But financially for Arsenal, that was just as important. Guys on huge wages who weren't contributing a huge amount.
Yeah, in fairness to James, I was wearing very tight short shorts in that interview.
Yeah, the less said about them, the better.
Yeah, no, fair play, James, don't worry. No, Edu was very, very positive speaking to him, and he actually said off camera, and he won't mind me saying this, that if they did finish 4th last season, they'd be a year ahead of the project. I hate the word projects, but Edu said it, so makes me think, was this the year where they expect to finish in the top 4? But look, outgoings aren't easy. They've got a number of players, Arsenal, they're looking to move on. And I said to Mikel Arteta last week, look, you've got a big squad, but he said, look, it's about quality. I also, what was interesting, asking him as well, did the targets change when it was Europa League, not Champions League? He said no. Gabriel Jesus was a 7-month plan. Zinchenko was a 6-month plan. They know what players they want. He said Rafinha, too much was made of that. It was just a bit of an inquiry from his friend Deco, who is Rafinha's agent. So they sound very, very confident, Arsenal. But the key, I think, as well, James, as well, thinking about this, is that Gabriel Jesus has had a whole pre-season. He's actually not going into this season as a new, fresh signing. He's had 6 weeks to bed in, and what a pre-season he's had so far.
James, just a final point then. 15 seconds to give me marks out of 10 for Arsenal's business so far.
Ooh, I'll give him an 8 so far. I think one more, and it might be a 9 or a 10, but I'll give him an 8. I've been impressed.
All right, James, thank you very much. Good to speak to you this morning. James Bayliss from AFTV there. Go on then, Nubaid, marks out of 10.
I should give it a 9. I mean, Arsenal fans are getting greedy, asking for more and more. I think they take more as a bonus, but it's been an incredible window.
Agreed. I'll say 9. They've made some impressive signings.
10, no more. Don't need any more. I think 8.5. I think they've done very well. I've seen Zinchenko and Jesus are winners. They're good signings. I like Zinchenko, and I think he'll play quite a bit in midfield as well for Arsenal.